Hi, my name is Emmi Kosama, and I'm going to present my master thesis with the title Obstacles and Solutions in Low Carbon District Heating Investments. My supervisor was Professor Sanna Syri, and the thesis was made in cooperation with Finnish Energy, where I got my advisor Jukka Makkonen. Moving on to the content, I'll first start with the introduction, then discuss theory and methodology, then move on to the results, which are presented as wide heating market analysis, starting with change drivers and then a SWOT, and then I'll build improvements on these two frameworks. So why did I actually do this thesis? The goal was to understand why heating emissions are decreasing slowly compared to electricity emission reductions. And my goal was to bring a message to regulators and especially help Finnish Energy in their advocacy in this topic when they're talking to regulators from both Finland and the EU. And then also hopefully help Finnish district heating companies in what, or then understand their obstacles. The focus is on Finland. And one important point here is that market settings have changed. The emission prices in the EU ETS have increased remarkably, being around 40 euros per ton of carbon dioxide equivalent here in the beginning of 2021. And then also the EU and Finland have both introduced very ambitious climate neutrality goals. Moving on to theory and methodology, I did my literature review in three parts. So first, looking at district heating and understanding that their starting point for reducing emissions is very good. So the emissions have already decreased. A lot of it have been done by investing in biomass. However, the district heating companies themselves have stated that they think technology based on other things than burning will increase from 10% today to around 30% in a decade. Then looking at current climate neutrality goals, the EU is aiming at 2050 and have introduced the Green Deal, but still have three main tools that reduce emissions. So there is the EU ETS, the emission sharing sector, and then the LULUCF. Most of this heating is in the emission trading system. However, there is some part of the heating in the emission sharing sector. It's mostly small heating producers or heating production plants, and then the LULUCF, well, it's connected to the use of biomass. Then I looked at the investment process. So how, what does it look like? I also looked at R&D and innovation, and the most important takeaway is that R&D budget and innovations are correlated. My study was qualitative with 14 interviews. I interviewed 5 energy companies, 4 consultants, 3 technology developers, and 2 financiers. The results will be presented as a wide heating market analysis, starting with the change drivers. So this is a Porter's 5 forces framework. I'll look at it as in wide perspective to be able to include all of the most important parts. So first, there's rivalry between industry players, so between the district heating companies. This has been low traditionally because of the highly geographically bound networks. So there is one network in one area, and these networks do not really compete with each other. It's also important to remember that the interviews told me that, or I could understand from the interviews, that the role of district heating in a climate neutral society can be large. So district heating do have a role in the society or in the future society. However, innovativeness and R&D budgets have traditionally been small. And then also there's some level of path dependency visible. So a lot of traditional production have been based on burning different kind of fuels, and the new technology entering the market is often based on electricity, heat pumps, and so on. So this requires a new way of thinking, new kind of knowledge, and so on. Moving on to the second point, so the supplier bargaining power. Low carbon technology is entering the market. However, these suppliers are often small players and may not be able to promise the security of supply that district heating companies require. And district heating companies do require, or often require, a monetary security for these, and this can become a difficulty with small players. Then looking at biomass, the use of biomass is increasing, and with the increasing demand, prices could increase. And if district heating companies are highly reliable on biomass, this increase in prices could become a problem. And then also financiers are one kind of suppliers. So they supply financing for the investments, and this is very important. Energy companies have gotten financing very easily traditionally. However, financiers have not been the ones that push for change in the field. This may be changing now, but that's how it is at the moment. So the third one is threat of new entry. New networks are probably not going to be built. However, solution providers are entering the market, so these see heating as an optimization problem, and for them, district heating is only one option for providing heating. So if district heating is not competitive to other solutions, then they will implement other sources of heating. Then also opening of networks can change the situation. Moving on to the fourth one, so bargaining power of buyers. Role of customers is getting stronger, and they require more in environmental questions, and this is mostly visible among industrial customers who have written down ambitious roadmaps to achieve their climate goals. Also, consumers are requiring these, but they don't have the same kind of roadmaps where you can actually look at what or where they're going. Then the fifth one is that of substitutes. And for example, ground source heat pumps are already gaining market share. And looking at these 5 points, the largest or the most powerful forces are the bargaining power of buyers and the threat of substitutes. Then moving on to spot, made in the perspective of a district heating company who's investing in low carbon technology. Their strengths are long expertise in the market. They have large heating networks, and these have no investment backlog. Market share is large. They have good access to finance, and they've had good customer satisfaction, and district heating is an easy choice for customers. So this builds a good starting point for becoming part of a climate neutral society. However, looking at the weaknesses, district heating companies have traditionally been slow to reacting to changes, for example, in customer demand and the increasing competitiveness. This is relatable to the monopolistic features that district heating companies have. The networks are a natural monopoly, and this may affect their way of doing business. And this is also related to the second point, so lack of innovative business mind. And then also that these companies have high trust in biomass, which is a very similar way of producing heat as the traditional fossil fuels have been. And this is called path dependency. So the low carbon technology entering the market will require a change in knowledge, optimization, very many parts in their business. And then also district heating companies have been weak at communicating their achievements. I'll discuss the communication more in the improvements. Then looking at the opportunities, the new technology is developing, and it's developing quite well. They have already been implemented to some extent. And then also when implementing these low carbon technologies, the dependency on fuels decreases, and these resources can then be used to other things. And then sector integration is advancing, and this offers the district heating networks possibility to offer flexibility to other energy carriers. So for example, the electricity grid, where the district heating can, well, change their production based on the electricity price. However, looking at the threats, these are the new players that I discussed earlier. So the ones offering solutions of heating. And then I wanted to emphasize the increased dependency on electricity, that this is a new thing for district heating companies, that this require resources and understanding a new way of producing heat. However, if efforts are put into this topic, this can definitely become an opportunity. And then also political outlook. So district or energy investments overall are very long time. So if politics and regulation can be forecasted, it's easier to understand what investments really are economically viable. Then looking at improvements, so customers have to be brought to the center. These are the ones that the heating is made for. So the district heating companies must understand what the customer wants and also communicate to them what is happening. Then looking at innovation, the field may need some incentive for innovation. However, district heating companies themselves can increase their R&D budget, which then in the long run will improve innovation. And also the district heating companies should cooperate with each other. They are not directly competing, so through cooperative pilot projects they can use their resources more efficiently. And then last but definitely not least is communications, which I've divided into 3 target groups. So the customers, as discussed many times, so the heating is made for the customers. The customers must understand what is happening, their achievements, how they're going to reach climate neutrality. Then the third one is regulators. Regulators should understand what is working in the heating market, what could be improved. And then the third group is internal communication. So for the employees, so that the best employees can be kept in-house, and then also to be able to employ new motivated talent into the company. Thank you.